The Abandoned Asylum. In the heart of rural Pennsylvania lies an abandoned asylum known as St. Mary S. Built in the early 1900s, it was once a place of hope for the mentally ill, but became infamous for its horrific treatment methods and numerous unexplained deaths. The asylum closed its doors in the 1970s, and since then, it has stood as a decaying monument to suffering and fear. Locals claim it's haunted, and only the brave or foolish dare to enter its crumbling halls. In 2019, a group of urban explorers led by a thrill-seeker named Mark decided to spend the night in St. Mary S, documenting their experience for their YouTube channel. Mark was known for his daring stunts, and this investigation promised to be his most intense yet. The group consisted of Mark, his girlfriend Sarah, and their friends Dave and Lisa. They arrived at dusk, the sun casting long shadows over the asylum's Gothic architecture. The entrance, once barred with chains, stood eerily open. As they stepped inside, the air grew thick with dust and the scent of decay. The faint sound of dripping water echoed through the halls. Armed with flashlights, cameras, and a sense of adventure, they began exploring. The first few rooms were empty, filled only with broken furniture and graffiti-covered walls. But as they ventured deeper, they discovered remnants of the asylum's dark past: rusted medical equipment, crumbling patient files, and old, blood-stained restraints. Their first major discovery came in the form of an old operating room. The steel table in the center was rusted, and the overhead lights dangled precariously. Mark, always the fearless leader, suggested they conduct a séance to try and communicate with any lingering spirits. They formed a circle around the table, holding hands as Sarah, the group's most spiritual member, led the invocation. As she chanted, the temperature dropped, and their breath became visible. The room grew eerily silent, and then they heard it. A faint whisper, barely audible but unmistakable. "Help me!" The whisper was followed by a loud bang, as a door slammed shut somewhere in the building. The group, though shaken, pressed on, feeling they were on the verge of uncovering something significant. They followed the sound, which led them to the basement, the most notorious part of the asylum where the worst experiments had been conducted. The basement was a maze of narrow corridors and locked cells. As they navigated the labyrinth, their flashlights flickered, casting eerie shadows on the walls. They found a cell door slightly ajar, and inside was a disturbing sight: a crude altar with burnt candles, old photographs, and a diary. Dave picked up the diary, its pages brittle with age. The entries, written by a former nurse, detailed gruesome experiments and hinted at dark rituals performed by the head doctor. The final entry was chilling. "He's found a way to keep them here. Their souls cannot leave." As they read the diary, a cold breeze swept through the room, extinguishing their candles. Suddenly, the door slammed shut, trapping them inside. Panic set in as they tried to force it open, to no avail. Then, from the darkness, they heard footsteps and saw the faint outline of a figure approaching. The figure, dressed in a tattered lab coat, had hollow eyes and a sinister smile. "Welcome to my experiment," it said in a voice that seemed to echo from the walls. The group screamed and pounded on the door, but it wouldn't budge. The figure raised its hand, and the room plunged into darkness. Moments later, the door burst open, and they were free. They scrambled out, gasping for air, and ran out of the asylum, not stopping until they reached their car. As they sped away, they could still hear the whispers and the distant sound of footsteps behind them. They uploaded their footage, but the experience changed them. they never spoke of it again, and the channel went dark. St. Mary's remains abandoned, a place where the past lingers and the spirits of the damned still roam, waiting for the next brave souls to enter.